This afternoon we're in Edinburgh for the Scottish Hydroelectric Premier 1 match between Heriots and Ayr. Neither side have had the best start to their season, but at least Heriots have got a win under their belt. And coming to Goldenacre looking for their first win is not the best thing Ayr could be doing, because this is certainly a bogey ground for them. Never having won here either in the Cup or in the league. But they started off with a real blast. Andy Wilson scampering away down the wing there against his old teammates. And that pass to Florian Mara just being cut out by Garrett Noonan with the try line beckoning. Another chance for Ayr a few minutes later, but Grant Anderson's kick fell short. And, well, could Ayr make something out of that? Not really. Ball worked out to Mark Teague. First of all, outpacing Scott Sutherland, then handing off Cammy Taylor, dunting AJ McFarlane before he finally pulled down. But that showed exactly the power that Heriots carried on their wings as well. And then another big man thundering into Ayr defence, Bruce McNeil, who along with his prop partner Wally Blacklock had joined Heriots this season. And, well, he takes a fair bit of stopping, does the big man. Just as well it's him with that haircut and not his pal, because it would have to say about Blacklock's dreadlocks, and we'd never get away with that. And then the ball moved out by Heriots, looking just as though they might make a wee dent in their defence. They're not quite getting it. Lovely inside ball from Mark Sherwood, picked up by Gavin Broomfield, and going over the top there, said John Steele. And after all their huffing and puffing and chances that they'd spurned, Ayr found themselves behind after that penalty in the 25th minute by Heriot scrum half Graham Wilson. And it looked as though they could almost go into half-time behind, with Heriots knocking back most of the Ayr attacks until 4 minutes from half-time. Ayr big drive on that line-out ball, and lurking at the back was Paul Burke. Finally the ball comes to flanker. Wee sniff of the line, and that's all that boy needs. Over he went. 5 points on the board for Ayr and the lead, with only 3 minutes to go to half-time. Grant Anderson missed the conversion, but with the clock ticking down in injury time in the first half, AJ McFarlane, lovely break there. Couple of wee shows of the ball, and then finally putting Scott Forrest away, the big man striding off. Could maybe have let that one go, held on to the ball, waiting for the cavalry to arrive in the shape of Glenn Tippett thundering in there, and Ayr sniffing another try before the break. And Paul Burke again feeding up to Andy Dunlop. Dunlop held up just short of the line, and Scott Lyons having a go, and then Stuart Finnick, but still the Heriots defence solid on their own line, knocking back the Ayr attackers. And then enter stage left one, Paul Burke. Again, ball at his feet, and that is sheer strength and power that got the Ayr flanker over for his second try in 3 minutes. Absolutely crucial for Ayr, because having been 3-0 down, that took them into half-time, 10 points to 3 ahead.
Scottish Rugby Radio, Sky Channel 0195, every Monday at 9 p.m. Join Stuart Cameron and his guests for news, match reports and expert comment on the Scottish game. The website has daily news updates and 12 radio channels with extra material. ScottishRugbyRadio.com.
Into the second half, and Ayr looking to build on that lead that they'd grabbed in the few minutes before the end of the first half. And replacement prop Fraser McKinnon driving in there. Ayr getting a wee bit of momentum on the ball. Bruce McNeil desperately trying to put a halt to that drive, but Ayr all right. Now they're crabbing across the field, but finally get the ball back. AJ McFarlane whips it away to Richard McCallum, and Cammy Taylor looking for space. Julian Montoro out to Ryan Holland. Ayr looking for that gap, but not finding it, and a very, very solid Heriot's defence until all of a sudden the ball with Scott Forrest. And oh, wee bit of class there. And look at that pass to Montoro. Just popped it up, knew the man was there. And Montoro delighted to go over for what was a real class try for Ayr. And this time Grant Anderson lined it up. Certainly not the easiest of the 3 conversions he'd had, but that one went straight through the posts. And after 45 minutes, Ayr 17 points to 3 ahead. And then 8 minutes later, Ayr scrum about 5 or 6 yards out. Forrest picks up and cool as you like. Oh, that's real quality in that try. The big man going through. Made the first try in the second half. Scored that one himself. And Anderson potted the kick to make it Ayr 24 points to 3 ahead after 53 minutes. And surely that was going to be enough for them to take the win back to Millbrae. But then some sloppy stuff from the visitors. And a misdirected kick there by Richard McCallum. And that was the wrong man to put it to, because Mark Teague takes the ball. Speculative kick there. And Ayr stood and watched. And the man who accumulated was Graham Wilson. Ayr will be kicking themselves for that one. Allowing Wilson to just nip in there, grab the try, and then slot the conversion to take it to 24-10 to Ayr going into the final quarter. And Ayr looking to close the game out. Richard McCallum trying to goose step through, but down he goes. And Heriot's now with the penalty taken quickly by Graham Wilson. Willie Blacklock thunders up to the 22. Lovely wee pop ball there. And Heriot's now starting to play with some spirit and confidence and taking advantage of some real sloppy stuff by Ayr. And then a terrific break by Colin Gowdy. Looked as though he could maybe go all the way. Inside ball. Looked as though it was going nowhere until, well, that was Gavin Broomfield. Popped up ball to Mark Teague, and the skipper beating Paul Burke's tackle to go over for the try. Graham Wilson again. Absolutely no problem with the conversion. And at 24-17, there was a chance that Heriots might just take something out of this game after all, after being out of it at 24 points to 3 down. And well, there's still a fair bit of fire in the forward encounters. Glenn Tippett and Bruce McNeil, they are two of the big men having a wee encounter, shall we say. And Heriots trying to work the ball away, trying to get themselves some momentum and into space, but then the ball out to Gowdy, and Paul Burke holds on to him. He holds on to the ball. Penalties at John Steele. And this time, with just a couple of minutes to go, Grant Anderson restored the margin for Ayr. 27 points to 17. Heriots were going to have to do something special. And well, Gavin Broomfield doing all he could, taking the ball into the heart of the Ayr defence, but as always so often happens when you're looking for the quality quick ball, the turnover. Ayr get the turnover. AJ McFarlane out to Anderson. Smack it anywhere, said McFarlane. Anderson does just that. Referee John Steele looks at his watch, and the full-time whistle goes at the end of what has been a cracking match. And Ayr coming out the right side of the scoreline.
I'm delighted with the win and the bonus point. If somebody had said that before we came here, we're 24-3 up, kind of cruising. Wasn't the best game in the world, but again, when you've not had a win, you're lacking confidence. But we made it tough for ourselves. Well, credit to Heriot because they came back and almost looked like they could get something out of the game. But no, I'm just delighted with the win. Never won here, so. Move on next week. Hopefully have 2 or 3 players back, so that'll add the strength in the squad. A lot of things to work on, but so what? It's a win. Let's all be smiling and have a few beers tonight.
So Ayr put their Goldenacre hoodoo to rest. They move into the top half of the table. Heriots drop into the bottom half, but there's a long, long way to go yet. This is Ron Evans for Scottish Rugby Television at Goldenacre.